Nate Danielson is healthy, and he made his roster appearance. He played 15 minutes and 16 seconds. He's in Detroit, and from what McClellan said in his press conference, it sounds like he may be staying in Detroit, and that means somebody has to move. This is your 7-minute Wings. Welcome back to the Red Wings Report by Strings and Pucks. This is Jeremy Laura. Since 2019, I've been a hockey writer. I started with Hockey Buzz, and this year I moved over to Hockey Hot Stove. If you get a chance, head to hockeyhotstove.com. There's articles on all 32 teams throughout the league, some fantastic insight. And of course, I write for the Red Wings over there. There are posts daily, and I'd love to see you there. Thank you, everyone, for your support. So Nate Danielson is healthy, and what I talked about since training camp has turned out to be true. Todd McClellan made it clear. Nate Danielson would have been on this team if he hadn't been injured. He was going to make it out of camp. And now the team has decisions to make. What's interesting is the decisions that I think they should make, they're going to bypass and do something to kind of take the final fingerprints of Ken Holland off of the Detroit Red Wings. There are only 3 players left that came from Ken Holland at this point, and only one, and that's Dylan Larkin, was on the roster on opening night in 2019 during Yzerman's first year. The team was completely torn down after 2019, and we saw players like Abdelkader get bought out, and everyone just moved. Later on, Bertuzzi and Hronek were traded, and of course the Hronek deal opened up the way for Axel Sandin-Pellikka. Michael Rasmussen and Jonathan Berggren, along with Larkin, are the last pieces of Ken Holland's legacy that are currently on the team. There's no way they're moving Larkin, obviously, so that leaves Rasmussen and Berggren. I'd honestly like to see them move Comfer. I think that with his cap hit and what's remaining, I just don't think he's produced anywhere near what they need him to, but he's going to be a lot tougher to move. Rasmussen's a centerman. That's what Danielson came in to do. Defensive centerman, 200-foot game. You're not looking to Rasmussen to get you on the scoreboard. If you're picking between the two of them and you need someone with a lot of energy, a lot of strength to do that job, already Danielson looks like the better choice. So I have to think that Rasmussen's being shopped. He was scratched. He's been scratched multiple times recently. Your problem's going to be the $3.2 million contract for this year and next year. That doesn't mean there's not a market for Rasmussen. It just means that it feels like you're going to have trouble getting value on that deal. But still, you're overloaded at the center position, and if you put Rasmussen on waivers, even though that cap hit can be a little bit daunting, someone's probably going to grab him. There are multiple teams thin at the center position, and Rasmussen obviously can play the wing, but he's reliable for shot blocking, for PK duties, and on a team that has the space and just needs to fit a body in, he could be a really good fit there. It's interesting, Rasmussen, some of my old readers had said this at the time. They thought he had a ceiling as a third line center or checking center. His scoring in his final year of junior, it felt like they were going to get more than what they ended up getting with him. He's dealt with injuries, but in the end, yeah, he's your bottom 6 guy. He's going to be your shot blocker. He's not going to chip in for a lot on the scoreboard. There's a value to that, but right now Danielson, he's just going to give you a lot more all over the ice. And already by playing 15 minutes, he's getting more. He's getting top 6 minutes in his first outing. Obviously, it's not quite 20 minutes, but you see what I mean. That was a hefty load to put on his shoulders, and it felt like they were just making sure that he was mentally okay to handle all that. And he is. Danielson's mature well beyond his years. And of course, now you're coming to Jonathan Berggren. There's kind of a shame of this. His minutes have never been in a place where they're giving him a genuine shot to contribute. There are teams that have asked about Jonathan Berggren in the past, including the Pittsburgh Penguins, but Pittsburgh doesn't seem to be open for business now because of their strong start to the season. But Berggren, at $1.8 million on the season and only a one-year deal, if you put him on waivers, you're going to lose him. So they may be actively shopping him at this point. He's just continually scratched and can't get into the lineup. It's a little bit confusing because there are certainly other players that you could have moved out and given him a shot in the lineup, but regardless, it seems like they're keeping Berggren healthy in order to get him on the move. So I need to know what you think about this. Danielson has made his mark. It looks like he's grabbed his spot, and as long as he's healthy, that means somebody else is going to have to move. And right now, the guys that were sitting on the bench, Jonathan Berggren and Michael Rasmussen, and they're also, apart from Dylan Larkin, the very last pieces that you can tie to Ken Holland on this roster. It may seem like a little thing, possibly not significant at all, but it does show that from 2019 until now, the overhaul has been massive, that every piece of the organization has been looked at. And with the exception of Larkin, it looks like it's getting even closer to being completely void of Holland's fingerprints on this roster. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you soon.